based on its deliberations, the Islamabad Declaration on Combating Corruption for the Full Realization of All Human Rights and Sustainable Development was adopted. The seminar was part of Pakistan's persistent efforts to strengthen international framework against corruption, recovery of stolen assets, promotion and protection of all human rights, and achievement of inclusive and sustainable development. Foreign Secretary Suhail Mahmood also met with a delegation from European countries that was on a study tour to Pakistan, organized by the International Center for Migration Policy Development, to assess the opportunities for support and cooperation in the realm of migration management. A 25-member delegation of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia also visited the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on 10th of January. The delegation was briefed on key aspects of Pakistan's foreign policy, including our commitment to forge deeper cooperation with Saudi Arabia. Dr. Sania Nishtar, Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Poverty Alleviation and Social Protection, and the Foreign Secretary briefed the heads of diplomatic missions in Islamabad on 10th January on the declaration on establishing a global social protection knowledge platform. The declaration is being steered by Pakistan in New York in collaboration with a group of friends on social protection. The Foreign Secretary also had a virtual meeting with Pakistan's ambassadors and consuls general and heads of camp offices in provincial capitals to review matters pertaining to the Prime Minister's Performance Delivery Unit, with a view to further enhancing efficiency and effectiveness of public service delivery and resolution of complaints. Gentlemen, on 5th January, the Kashmiris' Right to Self-Determination Day was observed. On this day, in 1949, the United Nations Commission for India and Pakistan, in its resolution, guaranteed the Kashmiri people their right to self-determination through a free and impartial plebiscite to be held under the auspices of the United Nations. In their messages marking the day, the President, the Prime Minister, and the Foreign Minister highlighted the grave human rights violations in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and urged the international community to ensure accountability for these crimes against humanity and to play their role in resolving the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UNSC resolutions and the wishes of the Kashmiri people. Pakistan reaffirmed its steadfast support for the Kashmiris till the realization of their inalienable right to self-determination. It is reprehensible that Indian occupation forces are continuing with their killing spree in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Since the start of this year, at least 15 Kashmiris have fallen victim to extrajudicial killings in fake encounters and so-called cordon and search operations. At least 210 Kashmiris were martyred in 2021. India is also shamelessly targeting journalists and human rights defenders, as you are well aware. We are also concerned, and we are continuing to alert the international community about India's track record and its efforts and the possibility, the real possibility that India might stage another false flag operation to complicate the situation. So we continue to alert our friends in the international community about this prospect. Pakistan calls on the international community to take immediate notice of the Indian state terrorism in IIOJK and hold India accountable for the egregious violations of human rights and international humanitarian law in IIOJK. India must allow unhindered access to international human rights and humanitarian organizations and UN special mandate holders to conduct independent investigations about the situation in IIOJK. The despicable harassment and insult of Muslim women in India through purpose-built online application has been rightly and widely condemned. This obnoxious and repugnant act is the newest low in the violent streak of hate attacks and targeting of minorities with impunity overseen by the BJP RSS extremist dispensation, under which space for minorities is continuously shrinking in India. Deafening silence of the BJP leadership and absence of discernible action against Hindutva proponents openly calling for genocide of Muslims should send alarm bells across the international community. And as the Prime Minister said, it is high time they took note and act to stop this dangerous slide and ensure the safety, security and well-being of minorities in India. We continue to follow closely the situation in Afghanistan. Pakistan welcomes the launch by the United Nations of what has been termed the largest single country aid appeal ever for humanitarian assistance in Afghanistan. This comes on the heels of the OIC extraordinary ministerial session in Islamabad last month, focusing on the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan. It goes without saying that urgent action is required to stave off a humanitarian disaster in Afghanistan. You would have seen our response to media queries on the P5 joint statement on preventing nuclear war and avoiding arms races. We believe it is a positive development. However, as noted in the statement itself, the realization of the objective of global disarmament will require a conducive security environment. This can only happen through cessation of destabilizing arms buildups and addressing asymmetries, settlement of disputes, and commitment to strategic stability rather than competition. I thank you.